Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Expose and Express online talk show. I am your host. I'm Jenny Umali, and I am the CEO of Successful Self-Made Women. I am a spiritual life coach and business coach. So today here with me, as always, my beautiful and amazing co-host, Bernz, Jill,
Hi.
Irina, and Rochie. And I can't wait to introduce to all of you our special guest, Carolina Moratti. She is a single mom from New Jersey. And guess what? She is an active community leader and a volunteer for Latinos. I am so excited this week because, we all know that, especially with what's happening in this world today, we need a woman who can really, really lead, right? I feel like women are more loving, and if you have that feminine energy, we get that power within us, and we are all practicing to empower women even more. So I'm not gonna let you wait for this. I want to introduce to you again, Carolina Moratti. Hi, Carolina. How are you today?
Very good. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be part of the talk show today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm also a single mom. And so I know
Nice.
how hard it is for you to really mix and match, and you're with all these activities. How do you do it? How are you, and how do you manage your time?
Well, I did start in my community work being a chef, teaching classes in the community of New Brunswick, teaching a class that was called Let's Cook, or in Spanish, Vamos a Cocinar, which was a program where I was working with families cooking together. So it was the moms and the kids cooking together. That's how I started my journey on connecting with the community, working with them and realizing that they have so much issues. As a single mom, you feel like, oh my God, my life is so difficult. Until you're faced with reality and you realize that people have even bigger problems than you have.
It's
So
true.
all of a sudden, I became the social worker for them, right? Without really a title. So I just started helping out because through my community, there is a lot of people who doesn't speak English. So I needed to kind of translate and work for them and help them out. So then that's exactly how I started my community work and my career as an activist. Later on, I was able to open up a nonprofit organization together with a group of wonderful ladies. It's called Sister Work, and we work in how to empower girls into go to college, and
Nice.
and how they can have pursue different kind of studies and different kind of opportunities for getting into scholarships, into meeting up and realize that there is. I'm sorry, my kid is trying to tell me something.
It's okay.
It's real life.
It's very authentic and very natural.
Yeah. He did it all at school. He sent me a little
Show
bracelet thing.
us. Show
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Oh,
He does acting classes in Georgia State
That's so
Playhouse, the theater company here, and he has his show at 1:00. So he said you can use your email link at 1:00 to see me.
oh, that's so sweet.
Oh my gosh, that's so
How old is
adorable.
your son? How old is your
Abraham
son?
is 13 years old.
13
13,
years old. I miss my kids when they're 13 years old.
right? Yeah.
30 plus
It
already.
gets difficult because they start doing their own life and they don't need you as much. So yes, absolutely.
It's
But
true.
when he was younger, I was like, I cannot wait for him to be independent so I can do my own stuff. But now I don't know what else I'm going to do. Like I do know how to be a mom. So I'm like, what I'm going to do now? I don't
True
know
that.
what else to do, right?
I
So,
feel
but
the same way. True that. I was like, so they all graduated in college, and I was like, so what's next? What's next? I am so used to supporting them and taking care of them and still like talking to them like babies. And all of a sudden, just like last night, they're talking to me about like, Mom, you know what? Get a life. Continue what you're doing. I kid you not.
Pushing her.
Yeah, you don't.
My bad, get a life.
And so I told my youngest, which is 20 years old, James. I told him that you know what, because he and his brother keeps on like arguing with some stuff, chores. Can you believe this? So good thing you only have one, two boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but I noticed that, for example, when my godson come in here and visit us and stay with us, it's easier for me because they get distracted and they give me more time for myself. So
yes,
to
good
me,
job.
like, yeah, because having more kids around, I think is easier. In my case, if I have my godson here, it's easier for me to have Abraham distracted so I can do my work, right?
Yeah. Oh,
But
that
it
makes me so
depends.
good.
Yeah, it depends on how they feel though, because sometimes they want to be next to you, but it's once they start growing up, they're gonna grow apart, right?
Yes.
But it's still, yeah. I mean, I guess we're never going to be happy with what we have, right? If we have long hair, we want short. If we want curls, we want
True
straight.
that. True that.
Sometimes we
So
get tired of
true.
our kids, and then another time we're like, oh my God, come here, watch TV with me. And they're like, Ma, I don't want, no, I have my things to do. But I guess
Yes.
depends, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
And I hear you're a single mom. So
Yeah.
have you had any time for love life?
Yeah. I
Love
do
life,
have
love
yes,
life right away.
Yeah.
well, yes, let's go through that, right? Well, I became a single mom when my son Abraham was 6 months old. After that, Abraham and I started our own life as a family. So, it was a lot of challenges and it was not a space to dating at that time. But later on with time, we started growing up together. And then, we just, then I did have, time for dating later on.
Oh, that's nice, Carolina. So, if you don't know, girls, Carolina and I, we've been friends for like 8 years, right?
Yeah,
Since
yeah,
kindergarten.
Oh,
Actually, our boys are kindergarten friends. So,
okay.
yeah, the 13-year-old. And I could really relate on what she's saying. Like, before they wanted mom, now they don't like moms anymore. Computer, right? They're always in computer.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Carolina, I know we've been together. I've seen you all these years and you've been doing so much. So what do you think are the advantages of being single?
The advantage of being single is that you can feed your kid whatever, and you don't have to worry about making dinner, right? um, and also it is you have. In my case, I have the chance to do more stuff. I'm not saying sometimes when you have somebody, you have to kind of ask and see if I do this, will this work out for the family, or will this help us out, or this will affect our family life. In my case, I think that's also helped my career as an activist and as a professional, because I was just taking the decisions on my own. I'm fortunate enough to not to deal with child support or anything like that, or visitations. So it's just I do decide everything that goes in Abraham's life together with my life. So it was a very good thing that I have on my advantage, that I do not have to pretty much decide anything with anybody else by myself.
Yes.
So that gave me the chance to go and go. That's why I pretty much raised Abraham up, going with me, helping, carrying boxes, helping me to do this, distributing, or everything that I do through the community work that I do. So it was just easier to, grab one kid and take the kid everywhere you go and do what you have to
Yeah.
do. That was to my advantage. Yes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
agree with you because like I've been married for almost 18 years now, and yes, every decision is like, oh, she needs to go shopping, and they're like, well, she's going shopping. How about the other kid? Like it's sometimes
Yeah.
you argue over little things, and sometimes I do doubt myself, like, oh, am I doing something? What I'm about to do, is it right? If
Yeah.
somebody tells you that.
Well, but actually, Rochie, I saw you growing up with your family, and I have to say you're an amazing mom. So we all have different.
Oh,
Yes, no, you're doing an amazing job as a mom. Your kids are adorable, well educated. You're a perfect example of what having that specific kind of family is, right? So you are in your own family way. You have the perfect family, and I love that. So it's
oh.
it is like we have to learn how to build up our perfect family the way it is, right? Because before, when I
Mhm.
became a single mother, I got into a crisis for a few years because I was feeling sorry about myself, and I was feeling guilty about the fact that I was about to raise my kid by myself because Disney and telenovelas and soap operas, all of that tell you that families are mom, dad, and kids.
Oh, yes.
And I was just in also coming from a background that being a single mom is kind of a stigma, and they see you different. At that time, 2006, it was difficult. So I had to come to the realization and be like, you know what, you are by yourself, but you're not alone. I have a good faith. Like I'm a Christian, and I'm very close to my faith. So that also hold me up. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be able to do it. But to get into that and not to feel guilty takes a minute. But if anybody who's listening right now, I will encourage you and tell you that you're going to be just fine. You're just gonna make it work.
Mm.
Don't rush into getting into a relationship just because you're trying to give your kid a father, or you want to have somebody for your kid to hang out, to be a father figure or male figure. Male figures are going to come sooner or later. It's gonna be people who's gonna be there to help you out raise your kid. But you will make more damage to your life and your kid's life if you rush into relationships that they're going to be so rocky and shake up your little family too much. So that will be my advice for single moms. Take a minute, don't rush, and you'll be okay. Being a single
Yes.
mom with one kid is just fine.
Yeah.
2 kids, 3 kids, it's perfect. My mom was a single mom as well. My father and my mom separated when I was like 5, and they just divorced when I was 34. So
Oh
it's
my
just
Wow.
yeah.
gosh.
I think they were keeping hope, but it is what it is.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Pre-
Prolonging the agony
yeah.
of of both parents, and then of course the children as well.
Jill?
Absolutely. But
Hi, Karina. This is Jill. How you doing?
hi, Jill. Thank you. Good.
How are you doing?
Very good.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and I love all the information that you have given and shared. I'm a single mom as well, and it is, it's interesting because, you've talked a lot about giving, for your family and making sure that that fits for you, right? That's the most
Yes.
important thing.
Yes.
And for me, a relationship, a personal relationship is, the cherry on the top, right?
Yeah.
It's an extra. It's not, when I look at my life, it's not, someone else coming in and swooping me up and saving me. It's adding to what's already really great. So what have you done to really get yourself into a position where you're like, okay, if it happens, I have a relationship, great. If not, what kind of mindset and what kind of work have you done for yourself to be able to get into that spot so that if it does happen, it's great. If it doesn't, it's okay too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it takes a lot of you have to love yourself a lot to be able to respect
Mhm.
yourself and to appreciate and realize how valuable you are as being a single mom, and how perfect you are, and realizing that if that person falls in love with you or asks you out and all of that, for their it's gonna be for their benefit, because you're gonna make their life
Right.
better, right? So
Yeah.
once you realize how awesome you are and how good you can be in a relationship, people is going to start seeing you like that,
Right?
because it's how
Yes.
it's the energy that you put out.
Mm-hmm.
How do you enter into a room? If you enter into a room trying to nobody to look at you and just barely say hi, the
Yeah.
impact that you're gonna cause is totally different. And instead of you coming into a room and you're smiling and you're saying hi to everybody, that attracts people. right?
Yeah.
And people will be like,
Absolutely.
who is that girl? Who is that lady who's coming in? I wanna get to know her, right? And also, how do you perform yourself on social media as well? You have to make sure, because a lot of people get into the attention that men can give you, and you expose yourself unnecessarily, right? You have to also make sure how to put yourself out, because you're going to attract the wrong kind of men if you're going to exposing yourself in the wrong way, right? And you also have to have the mindset, what do I want? Because if I want a casual relationship,
Yes.
then let me put myself out and be just different way, right? But if you're looking for
Right.
something else, then the way that you perform, and then the way you put yourself out, is going to be the way that you're going to attract men. But it's also deeper than that, because if you realize and you see wonderful women having terrible relationships, and you're like, why? Because sometimes, because of the issues that you have in the past, the scars that you're taking, you didn't fix yourself yet. So if you don't love yourself, right, you're always going to attract the wrong kind of man.
Yeah.
Because if you, yeah,
Like I
if
have,
you,
One
yeah,
of the
if you are
best.
like, if you're showing that you want to be the protector, the one who's taking care of that, the one who loves to fix men problems, you're going to get that man. How? I go to different, yeah, you're gonna be like, I go to different places. I try to mix up with important people. I try to go to better places. I don't want to pick up a guy from the bar. But some way, somehow, even if you go to a get together on the White House, you're gonna get the wrong guy because you didn't fix yourself first. So that is key.
I love that. I love that, Karina. And it's so interesting because some of my clients that do start attracting the same type of guy, they haven't fixed themselves, right? They haven't fixed, what is troubling them inside. And I love that you mentioned that, because if you start fixing yourself, then guess what? Your standards also increase, right? So you're not going to accept that level of a relationship anymore. You're going to expect more.
Yes, and except that you have to, I will share something that's been happening to me lately. Because I was telling in the beginning, I was talking to Rochie before, I went to a journey where I lost 138 pounds in 15 months.
Nice.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
That's
amazing.
Yes. I was 337 pounds when I started it. And right now I'm 205. So
Wow,
it is.
congratulations.
Thank you. So with that said, so for some reason I was always complaining, oh my God, like I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I don't attract nobody. Like nobody make no move. And not that I'm looking for, because I do have a relationship. But I was like, it's real, right? A lot of people is getting guys approaching them, and I'm like, oh no, that doesn't happen to me. But all of the sudden, I started to get people getting back and feeling attracted to me and trying to reach out to me because they see you different, right?
Yes.
So we also have to be careful when we go through changes, because you look different, and people from the past start trying to that's I don't know if it's the quarantine or if it's what I did with my weight. something in between, something happened, right? That I have people trying to come back to your life.
Yes.
And that made me realize what would I want to pick up a relationship that I rejected before.
yeah.
What would I feel that I can connect with you if I disconnect from you in the past?
Right.
It's no need, because sometimes we're like, no, this person had changed and this person can be better for me. Not always. And you don't want to make the risk. You don't want to take the risk if you already know what is in the package, right? So there's also part of relationship that you also have, and when you have relationships on people, you have to be careful, because a lot of people are going to try to come back to you for many different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right, Karolina. See, when people see that there's a light in you, there are just two people who would really float. those people who are aligned to your energy, who are supporting you and cheering you up and cheering up on you, and people who are like jealous. They don't want you to change. Even if they're like family members or friends, these people are not used to you being a better person. And losing the weight that you have lost, it's not just about your physical body. Mostly, you use your mindset to really fully develop that kind of mindset. It's your power. It's the loving energy in you that embraced the change in you. You want to inspire other people by, like, just like you said, to be a role model for them.
Yes.
It's not just about showing or impressing other people, but to inspire them. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank you. And that also opened different doors because when I started the journey of losing weight, I do it just for health. But I didn't realize that it will change my mind setting so much because I thought I was fine.
Mhm.
I was already a community organizer. I was doing my thing on the community. It brought up so many more opportunities because the way you see yourself is the way you put out yourself. So
Yes.
it wasn't coincidental, but everything happened for a reason. And the energy I started bringing out, it bring up even more opportunities to my life. Our life really changed after the journey of losing weight on my life. It was amazing. A lot of things happened to us right after that.
That's amazing.
Really big.
I just one quick comment. I just read in a book recently. You can only love someone else as much as you love yourself.
Yes.
That's a
And
good
that's
one.
powerful,
Yes.
right?
Very,
Very
powerful.
powerful.
Yeah.
That's
So,
totally true.
So
so I love that you have made so much progress.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
But
it's
with that progress, you also have to
Yes.
with that progress, and you also have to, well, in my case, I try to look up for ways that I can help others, inspire others,
Love
and
that.
inspire and like empower women. How you can,
Yeah.
what you can do to inspire them and change them and help them out to have a little bit of what you having, right? Because when you have and receive and get a lot of blessings,
Yep.
you have to figure it out how you can put it out in somebody else so you can get more.
yeah, yeah.
That's true.
Carolina, thank you for joining us today.
Oh no, thank you for
Yes.
having me.
So I can definitely relate to you what you were saying about how what you think of yourself from within is what you attract from without. And in my case, I've also taken a few years off from dating to really find out who I am. Because before I would jump into relationships and they, I would really want to make them work, but they would end and I would learn a lesson and I would keep going. But then I realized that I have to take a break in order to really find out who I am and to learn to love myself the way that I want to be loved. And it took me time to realize that. And when I did, I stopped looking for love and I stopped looking for relationships and started to learn about who I am. So I can totally relate to what you're saying about walking into a room, into the White House, and unless you're loving yourself the right way, you'll still attract the wrong kind of guy. So my question for you now is, what are your current dating fears?
Well, like I said, I like you feel like if you don't gonna have somebody who's going to connect with your kid, right? And you also fear that if you're going to go through the same stuff. But like in my life right now, I'm seeing myself in a different way that I think I would ask for so much in order to look into a different relationship that it will be completely different of the choices that I make in the past. So first of all, if I would get into dating somebody again, it will be somebody who will have a lot of patience because I won't be able to give them as much time as before. Maybe if anything, be able to see this person once a week. And yes,
Right.
yes, uh,
Right.
because of all the things, that I do, it has to be somebody who doesn't care about someone who is always out. I do a lot of community organized events. I deal with the county. I'll deal with actors, and I deal with a lot of organizations related to arts. So I'm surrounded by politicians and elected officials and actors, and people is really friendly the same way I am. So it gotta be somebody who is really open mind, because you have to, and also you have to be very social,
Mhm.
because there is a lot of social events that I do attend that require, at least for you to be able to hold a conversation. If you're not that kind, then it will be the other
Right.
kind who don't mind that you will be dating a social butterfly.
Yes.
So it has to be somebody who has a lots of patience
Yeah.
to be able to understand this kind of relationship, and especially because I'm not looking, majority of women will say I'm looking into a long-term relationship to get married.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really on my books or on my way of thinking right
Yeah.
now. When Abraham was like, before he became 6 years old, my pastors and church, they were like, Carolina, you have to get married before Abraham is 6 years old, because you need to be able to build that relationship with your husband and your son. And I was rushing
Mhm.
because of that. I was like, my spiritual um person
Please.
is
Yeah.
telling me that I have to rush, I have to make sure, and that make me make a lot of mistakes, right? So
Yes.
then after Abraham was like 8, I took it upon myself to decide to not to get married or get into any relationship and Abraham until Abraham go to college.
Yeah.
Why?
Time.
Yeah, the reason I decide that, it is because I didn't want to push my kid to live with somebody else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know
And
what?
that is,
Talking about the standard. See how powerful she is. She's really set her standard very high. So
mhm,
I really love hearing that. But is there any downfall when it comes to being strong and you know that you are capable of raising your kids alone? You're capable of you're not just into it. You know, like what the topic is all about. Single but not ready to mingle. So what
yeah,
do you think is the downfall of not enjoying your moment with somebody or sharing your stories or sharing dinner or lunch with somebody?
yeah. Unless you have and unless you be able to find somebody who will be in the same position as you or respectful of your um personal life and your kids, it will be very difficult. Like I said, the person I'm dating currently, he is also a single father. He raised his kids, so we're like, I don't want to marry you because I don't want to raise your kids, your daughters.
Mhm.
And he was like, I wouldn't mind with Abraham because he's only one. But I was like, you have three, I have one. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do that, right? And I
Poor
was
kid.
like, and to me, it's like, I
Full.
it's just my personal decision, right? I explained to him, I take this decision, and this I want to emphasize that it's my personal decisions. I don't want
Yes.
to judge. I don't want to judge anybody's decisions. I saw people who get married and the guy is like a parent for the kids and they have a wonderful family, mixed family, and they're all happy. But
Yeah.
I do decide on my own that
Mhm.
it's okay if I want to date it, if I want to have a boyfriend or whatever, but outside my home. I didn't want to bring nobody to live with us.
Yes.
And that was my own decision. I did it because of Abraham. And like I said, if later on in life Abraham's go to college and he does his life and he goes on with his life, if I ever feel like I'm ready to get married, I will do it. Otherwise, I don't really feel the need. I'm good
Yeah.
in the relationship that I am right now. I have my agreement. You in your home, I'm in mine, and when we can to get together once a week. If I don't have the time, good.
Yes.
If somebody is down for that, it's perfect. If the person is not, I'm good too, because I do have a lot more things to do in my life.
Yes.
Relationship are not my priority, but I also want to emphasize on the fact that to get to this point, it's not gonna happen from from night to the next day. It takes
Yeah.
time, it's a journey that you have to make amends with your own self.
That's
You have to
true.
make amends you have to make some amends with society, because even if we said, I don't care about whatever people said, I don't care about society judging me. No, you do inside. So you have to
Yes.
make, yes, you do. You
Well,
do.
you know what? Honestly, I think as a single mom like me and Jill, I think really our fears is for our kids'
Yes,
sake.
Hmm.
Our
absolutely.
kids'
Oh
sake.
yes, yes,
That was my mindset before, and I feel like
absolutely.
my
Hmm.
mindset, my fears are like I don't wanna be in a relationship. I don't wanna date men. I don't wanna just waste my time because I don't know if my kids will approve it or are they gonna be like okay with each other and all those fears like worse is you don't want them to you don't want to be in the middle like when things get complicated you don't want to be in the middle because whether you like it or not mother will always be mothers.
Yes,
We will
Yes.
always be on our children's side. But of course, we will also like talk to them about like the fault that they have made, the mistakes that they have made. Of course, we still have to discipline them. But this is so true. Like Carolina said, the society will not dictate who you are as a mother, but it is
Correct.
how you want to protect your children as a single mom. And talking about like being single for a very long time, I want to ask Bernz here because before I met her, she was really in a she was in a 4-year relationship, and then of course it didn't work out. I mean, 4 years is long, okay, but then it didn't work out, and so what happened is that she chose to stay single. So what is like uh the the positive things that you have experienced when you were single, and what are the negative things? Like for me, when you're single, it's kind of sad when you don't really have friends. But so I want to hear from Bernz, how does it feel to be single for a very long time too?
I actually loved it because I had all the time in the world to actually do the things that I want. On my 40th birthday, Hawaii by myself. And
What?
best experience. I was like
Oh,
Hawaii by myself.
that's so awesome.
Um, before I went there, I planned it like maybe 3 months before, and I bought like every Groupon I could find, so that every day I had something to do, morning, afternoon, evening. It was the best time of my life. I mean, seriously, it was. I went skydiving. I didn't have to worry what time I should wake up, where to eat. You know, I didn't have to worry about like, oh, is she having a good time or not? Am I boring her? I just did whatever. I woke up anytime I wanted to. I went out and did anything I wanted. It was just amazing. Then, um, I don't see like I didn't see any challenge in terms of wanting to be with someone because I was in a relationship for a while and I just enjoyed myself basically. And it's kind of like self-love too
yes.
because I treated
Right.
the things that I was deprived of. So, yeah, that was it.
Awesome.
That's so
That's
awesome,
so
Birds.
that is very
Woo!
Oh,
cool.
I like that. Now I
That's
want that.
inspiring.
I love that too. All
Oh,
right, Rachel,
Wait,
you I want
did
that.
you see Jill's reaction? Because Jill is just recently
I'm so
Come on,
jealous. I
Jill.
like so wanna.
Tell us your beautiful story. You're all smiling. You're very happy. I know
She's
you're,
glowing.
yeah. Can you please share your story? How does it feel to be single? Are you
well,
single?
minute, I saw
Uh,
a hot air balloon.
I know, right? Last weekend, my boyfriend and I went on a hot air
You're
balloon
not
ride, and
single anymore.
I'm not single anymore. But the thing is that a lot of people ask me, okay, are you single, dating? Like, it's funny because there's this like definition of like like when you fill something out, it's like, are you single or you're married, right? Like it's one or the other. But like it's like, so I still kind of feel like I'm single because I'm not married. So,
Yeah,
so
less
that's
less
the way I define it, right?
obligations.
But so Bernz is so, it's in, so that's why I got that reaction, because it's like, when you are single, you got out of a relationship that was tough, that wasn't working, and then all of a sudden you're filling up your own cup, like we talk about, right? Where you're filling up your own cup, then you're making yourself a priority and you're showing yourself self-love. And what I love is anybody that goes out and does something for themselves,
Yes.
right? To be able to feel alive again, to feel like you're doing something for yourself. And when we're in relationships, it's so easy to give and give and give that we forget about ourselves. And especially when you have small children. And Karina, too, I'm sure for you, it's like to be able to give to your son is a natural thing at the end of the day. And that's, very important, no doubt. But it's even more important to love yourself and to do things for yourself. And when Bernz said that she did that solo vacation, it's like, yeah, that like makes you like really, really get pumped up for other people, because so many people don't do that. So many of my clients have a hard time doing that. And why is that? That's the big question. Why is it so hard to do stuff for ourselves?
Well, I think
So yeah, Bernz,
like
after the trip, Bernz, after the trip, did you feel like a whole different person? Like you could give more because you gave to yourself?
oh yeah, well, it's a big thing. So here's a short story. So when I was young, a fortune teller said I was gonna die in water, which is why I decided to challenge that. And so I booked that trip to challenge that. So all the activities I bought on Groupon was all water activities. And then
Wow.
now was I jump off a plane
Wow.
1,000 feet. So initially
Wow.
21,000 feet, but they didn't have oxygen available. And so I ended up with a 14,000 feet. And I have fear of heights. And yeah, ascending on the airplane, like this tiny airplane that was so loud, I didn't have any fear at all. I was so relaxed. I was like, okay, if this is my time, it's my time. Like I feel like I accepted my fate. Like, I was
Right.
afraid. There was no fear at all. And then
Wow.
after jumping off the plane, I was like exhilarated. I'm like, nothing happened. Because if there was a moment that I was going to die, it was at that moment. Something was going to malfunction. I'll fall into the water and
Okay, so I think when you're single, I think what the reason why Bernz really shared that story is when you're single, you can be really free, you know?
Yeah.
So Irina, she's my friend and she's been single for a very long time. Not that she doesn't want to really mingle, but more of like, there's a lot of like, um, I don't know, like fears, I guess, but because she's really like, she's a perfectionist and she has high standards as well. So, Irina, can you tell us something about you being single? And this is like, you're different because you want to mingle.
I said before, I want to take time to find out who I am. And it's not that I wasn't dating or I didn't have, men in my life. I knew that it wasn't right. I feel like I'm waiting. I know I'll know when it's right, when I have a complete balance and love for myself.
About Irina, because it's nice that most of you are single, right, Jill? So, but but it just reminded me of, I think I have another friend that I've known since like during college days, and it's one of those long time friend that you haven't talked in a while. So he was asking me like, oh, so what are you going to do in 5 years time or 10 years time? Because, I have my kids now and they're like almost 17, 15, 13, and 11. So I told him, oh, you know what? I can't wait for my youngest to be in college or when he's 21. It's like, why? Because I'm going to be free. I'm going to be, and he's like, what are you talking about? You're married. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm married, but I have these plans of doing, I would say, silly, stupid things. And he's like, so what do you feel like doing? And I said, I want to go to China and actually run on rooftops, like one of those um,
What's
wearing.
what's going on with single people? What's going on?
No, I think
We're all
it's
single.
no, I think it's about really finding ourselves on
Why
different things.
China? Why rooftop?
No, because remember like those Chinese that they were running on rooftops.
Yes.
And I said, they look so fabulous. And you know me, Carolina knows me as that crazy one. I said, I want to wear one of those Chinese outfit and run on rooftop. And and then he's like, why? And I said, it's something that I wanted to do for me because at that time my kids will be like grown up. They know how to take care of themselves. Then I could do something for
Like you're
me.
looking forward to be single.
No, I think it's about because we're talking about self-love. Because for me, here's my story. I haven't been actually single since 19 years old. Since I had my first relationship, then after that I had another, and then I got married.
Yeah.
So I never saw. I would say I never really enjoyed myself. Most people are single until their 30s or 40s, and I'm there like at 24. I'm raising kids.
Yeah.
So I think I
Wow.
miss. It's not that I miss, but probably I started early. So I'm looking forward when they're all gone. That I could do something for myself, right? Because
Well, are you happy? Are you happy in your marriage?
yes, I
Would
would
you
say
say you're happy?
yes, I could say I'm happy, but I think like over the years, I realized that there are some things that I really want to do for me. And I realized that when I turned 40, because when I turned 40, I celebrated my birthday in the Philippines with my mom and my dad. No kids, no husband, just me.
I
And
remember.
yes, and then at that time, when I was there in the Philippines, it's just that my dad and I talk, like as a father daughter, as a like my mom and I went to the mall shopping. So those things that it's like it's been 20 plus years,
Yeah.
and these are the things that I think I started to become rooted again. Like I knew my roots. And that's when I knew myself. Because, as a mom, it's hard to forget ourselves.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
sometimes lose really your identity
You
when
really
we
lose
really
the
take care of
identity.
our children. We set aside ourselves. So I actually like Jill here, the queen of filling your
Cup.
own cup coach.
The cup.
So, yeah. So I remember that yes, we miss being single, okay, only because we miss doing the things that we love doing when we don't have much responsibility and obligations, because
Yes.
Hang on.
Oops.
Me,
that's our iRobot. So going back, so I understand. I think, you know what, it's not just for the most of the time, okay, like what Karolina said, when you have long hair you want short hair, when you have short hair
Yeah.
you want long hair. So when you're single you want to get married or you want to be in a relationship. When you're in a relationship you'll be like, I want to be single again and I can do anything. But you know what, the advice that I can give you, like I give advice to my clients who are in a relationship and who are single, no one can make you happy but yourself. You have to
Exactly.
set something for yourself. You have to put limitations. And in the beginning of dating, you already have to tell your prospect and tell them that, hey, I'm this kind of person. I can be clingy, I can be needy, but I also want to be alone. So if I don't, yeah, so if I don't talk to you, if I don't text you, if I don't want to have dinner with you, if I don't want to have lunch with you, that doesn't mean I love you less. But this is
Yeah.
for me recharging. So at least 2, 3 times a week, I needed that space. So I have my Reiki room and then I have my little sanctuary here. I just have to have that moment for myself so I can also miss this person. We have to miss them, even our kids. When it's like when
Yeah.
you're working too much, you get burned out. You don't want to do it anymore. You'll be like, this is like over and over and over again. We're doing the same thing over and over again. So, especially with women, we are very patient, but at the same time, we love spending time alone. But we are also a nurturer, we're a mother, we're this, we're women.
I
And
think that
women does is that we sacrifice ourselves.
I
So,
think the ultimate measurement, if you're comfortable being single, is when you can go to the movies by yourself.
oh my gosh, I
I
can.
haven't done
Jill,
that.
Jill, what's going on? You look like a cheerleader.
I love going to the movies by myself. Love
But
it.
Okay, I just want to tell you the difference
Love
between
it.
you guys enjoying your moment being single. Because I don't want to eat alone. I don't want to watch movie alone. I don't want to walk in the mall alone. So I'd rather like stay in at home, read, or be with my children. So I'm that type of person. I don't want to do things alone. Why would I do that if I have 3 children who's like half my age? Just like Rochie and I gave birth at the age of 19. So, Carolina,
Yeah.
speaking of enjoying your single life, right? And you're not ready to mingle, and we respect that. I really love that. Okay. So, what are the advice that you can give to all the women out there, whether they're single or not, because you have experience being in a relationship and you had a good life as well when you were in a relationship. It's just so happened that you went to you chose a different path, and you're able to stand up for what you believe in, and losing weight, still taking care of your son, which is very smart. He literally
They're sign
send
board.
a message and you can use the email. I mean, like what we said, the fruit is not far from the tree, right? So, what are the advice or the encouragement that you're going to give to our televiewers?
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me a chance. But what I was saying is that don't be afraid of loving yourself. Don't be afraid of putting yourself first. Because sometimes I'm like, no, my kids are my priority. After my kids, I will take care of me. No, because if you don't take care of yourself first, you're not going to be able to be a good mom for your kids. You're not going to be able to take care of the community or do your things, right? So with that said, yes, I went into a big process of loving myself, knowing myself, loving myself enough to make a change on my body so I will be able to be healthy to take care of my kid in the future. If I wouldn't be on the way that I was before, clearly I wouldn't be having more health issues and I wouldn't be able to stay longer for my kid. My plan was like, I want to be able to see my grandkid. And if I keep staying on this way, that's not even going to happen. I'm not even going to be able to see my son graduate from college, right? So with that said, I did make this change for those reasons. So don't be afraid to do that. And also, I will say, um, don't be afraid to give a helping hand, because sometimes when we do that, we're not changing our own selves. We are changing people, but sometimes we think, oh, we're helping people. I'm in the business of helping people through community work in different ways. But when I realized they feeding me up, they taking care of me, I'm feeding my soul by doing that. When I started my community work, like I want to share that a little bit with you guys. When the COVID-19 crisis hit, I reached out. I got 4 moms who reached out to me, and they said, "Listen, I'm a single mom. I'm undocumented. I don't speak the language. I need help." One of them called me and said, "I don't have nothing to give my kid."
Mm-hmm.
I started a diaper drive and food drive with 4 families.
Mm-hmm.
With my friend Claudia, we ended up helping 65
wow,
families. We are almost in
Wow.
60. Yeah. So the little impact you can cause in the community, you can be
Yeah.
impressed. You can be impressed starting with little something and then grow up in something else because people seeing your work how do you perform and how much you show that you're doing for the community, and people start giving up and helping. So something little, don't be afraid of helping and doing something. You might don't want to start a food drive, but you might want to share information with people, and you'll be changing people's life. Together with the food drive, we start something called Birthday in a Box project, which is which it is having a pastry cake. A cake made by a very famous pastry chef, with everything in a box to have a little party for the kids. So we dropping that to kids in quarantine, or kids that they have autoimmune sickness, so they cannot leave the house. We already delivered about 15 cakes between this time of quarantine.
Congratulations.
That's another. So it's a little impact that you can cast on the community, and to be able to change people's lives, right?
Nice.
So, and it's so comforting to be able to surprise people. To get when I started this diaper drive, we didn't know my partner, my friend Claudia, was pregnant. So she was working, helping others during the crisis, being pregnant.
Wow.
So we find out we were delivering food. I was delivering food with a pregnant girl. So we organized a baby shower, and that's where we see community. A lot of people came and helped, and we ended up doing a drive-through baby shower, which was amazing. The lady,
Drive-through.
yeah, it was crazy.
I saw that.
Yes.
It was crazy. We had people dropping the presents. We were giving it the favors and cupcakes, and bye-bye. We were sending them out. It was amazing.
Yes.
And also we were able to host a birthday party for the chef who does the cakes.
Nice.
The kids wanted to give back and go surprise her to her home. Some of them, they don't even have cars, so moms were asking for rides and all of that to be able to go there. So that's how you can see how community can give you back, how much you can do and how much impact you can cause on the community. How much impact you can cause on somebody's life. I have one of the girls called me and she said, I love you so much. Thank you for my cake. Thank you for my cake. I want to be your godmother. What she wanted to say is she wanted me to be her godmother. But then I ended up having a godmother who is 6 years old.
Honestly, that's a nice story. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because hey, so in behalf of Expose and Express online talk show, we were able to gather $1,500
Dollars.
Nice.
Christian, Bernz, can you please tell them, like, just a brief? I'm so happy.
So in the Philippines, we actually organize a fundraiser to help the Filipino frontliners who are working at a nonprofit hospital. And now, since we have more than enough, because $1 is equal to 50 pesos, basically.
Yeah.
So we have more than enough, and so we're expanding, feeding more less fortunate
Families,
who are needing food. So it's pretty exciting. I guess the government's help there was not enough for to sustain them throughout this lockdown, because I think theirs is actually extended until August. So we're happy that we're almost we're in the same mindset, like helping, like feeding, because it's really tough, like even for the elderly who can't go out because they're very vulnerable in this situation. Like those kind of things really help and impact them in a big way. We don't even know how much we impact them.
Okay, so thank you so much, Karolina. Oh my gosh, you are such a blessing.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
We want to invite you again. This is not going to be the last.
Yes, absolutely.
Bye.